Thank you for joining us for our virtual political forum this afternoon. I'm Jennifer Williamson with the Greater Limestone County Chamber of Commerce. As we begin this evening, I want to ask Patrick Lawrence of Berea Baptist Church to lead us in an invocation and pledge.
Would you bow with me, please? Lord Jesus, as we gather here this evening, we're thankful to be Americans. We're thankful to be able to exercise our freedoms and our liberties in this form of this forum. We thank you for the privilege of growing up around Limestone County and Athens and raising our children and now seeing our grandchildren grow. And so, Lord, we realize that these forums are important to us, and I pray for each candidate that you might settle their nerves. Thank you for the Chamber for hosting this. And then, Lord, I just pray that you get the glory from it. In Jesus' name, amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let me see.
Thank you. So tonight we will feature candidates in the City of Athens mayor race and also our Athens City Council District 4 race. I want to thank the Athens News Courier for helping us with the event tonight. Lora Scripps is going to be our moderator, and Jessica Barnett will be our timekeeper. And although you cannot see behind the camera, this is a closed event, so we invited our candidates. They were allowed to bring one guest. We have our event coordinators here, and we have limited media present. We are socially distancing, and all that are attending are wearing their mask. And so we have asked the candidates to wear their mask unless they are speaking. So the candidates were not given questions in advance, and the questions came from the Chamber Civic and Governmental Council, our News Courier, and Chamber board members. We want this event to provide a platform for our candidates to share their plans and vision if elected, and we will cover the top issues that we're currently facing in our city. Candidates will be timed, and every candidate will have an opportunity to address each question that's asked. We do ask the candidates that when your time is up, Jessica, she will alert you. You may complete your sentence, complete your train of thought, but we do ask that you please be respectful of the other candidates and stay within your time limit allowed. Candidates drew numbers when they arrived, and so to determine their speaking order. And we are going to kick off with our Athens City Council District 4 candidates. We have Ms. Marcia Day and Ms. Dana Henry. We're going to ask them to join us, and I will have Lora Scripps from the News Courier to please join us, and we will get started.
If you ladies are ready, we'll get started. We're going to start with introductions, and Marcia, you're going to go first. You have 1 minute introduction.
Hello, I'm Marcia Day. My background in business and in education has prepared me to be a strong advocate for intelligent growth management and an even better quality of life for everyone in our city, especially in District 4. Through continued implementation of appropriate infrastructure and expanded city services, my background and experience have equipped me to understand budgets, city contracts, and matters concerning city employees while ensuring that tax revenues are judiciously spent. The professional and personal relationships that I have built with local, state, and national education leaders and local business owners, economic development personnel, and city employees
You can finish your sentence if you
have
like.
empowered me to effectively represent the citizens of District 4.
Thank you. Dana, you've got 1 minute to make your introduction.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Dana Henry, and I'm asking for the honor of your vote for the Athens City Council District 4. I'm new to running for political office, but I've always been active in Athens. I'm a lifelong District 4 resident. I started out over on Hines Street with my parents, Martha and Doug Sims, and after Athens High School and the University of Alabama, working elsewhere, I then chose to return to the Square, where I've run my family's business for almost 25 years. My husband and I raised our son Mitchell in District 4 and at Calvert School. As a small business owner and a working mom, I know what it is to make tough decisions, to demand a great deal from myself, and to be ready to take on whatever situations I face. Those skills will be needed as a member of the City Council. In a small business, you answer daily to your customers. On the City Council, I would answer to the citizens of District 4. Communication, dedication, and cooperation cannot be stressed enough in any organization. A city has hundreds of moving parts that must operate smoothly to be successful. I work constantly with others in a variety of projects and will bring that team ethic to the City Council.
Thank you. Marcia, you're also going to go first on this question, and you've got 2 minutes. Dana, you'll have 1 minute, and then Marcia, you can respond again if you'd like. You'll have 30 seconds. Why are you running for the Athens City Council, and how are you qualified for the position?
The reason I'm running is the same reason that I have done all of the things I have done in the years that I have lived in Athens. I came here as a 21-year-old. I taught for 37 years in the school system at Athens High School. And as a workforce development teacher, I understand much of the change that is coming to Athens and to the West Side specifically, with the number of jobs that are coming, and also my ability to develop relationships with the business community. That includes small business, medium-sized, and large companies. I believe that I can effectively represent the citizens in District 4 because economic development is a very important part of building Athens and adding to our quality of life. As a retired educator, I have ample time to commit to the citizens in District 4, to listen to their concerns, to answer their questions, and to use my influence to help solve problems that they may experience as they go about their daily lives in District 4. I also have developed over the years teamwork skills. I hope to be an effective team member with the other sitting council members and to work with them to bring some intelligent management procedures to the District 4 and also to the City of Athens.
Dana?
Why I'm running, in a nutshell, is because I love Athens. I want to see Athens be the best version of itself it can possibly be. We are at a really important juncture in our history. We have got a lot of growth. We've got to manage it responsibly and intelligently. And I know that I've got enthusiasm, drive, and energy to make it a great city. I want my son to be able to come back from college and have a great job here and establish a life for himself, and I want to see future generations do the same thing. As far as how I'm qualified, I do run a small business, actually 2, which is a tough juggling act, but most people who are busy know that if you are intent in your objectives, you can accomplish anything. And I do know that coming up with this kind of a job does require a great deal of teamwork, and I would really, really appreciate the opportunity to work with the other gentlemen on the City Council for that. I think I can be an asset.
Thank you. Marcia, would you like to add anything to that?
Yes, I would. Thank you. I, too, am passionate about doing the very best job possible to help Athens deal with the changes we are currently experiencing. The growth on the west side is phenomenal. We're adding rooftops at an amazing rate. New businesses are coming to our community, and we need to be able to meet those challenges head on. And I believe I have the knowledge and experience to help take care of that.
Dana, this time you'll have 2 minutes on this question.
Okay.
And you can also
Sure.
come up. Okay. What is the biggest issue facing District 4, and how do you plan to address that issue?
The biggest issue affecting District 4 is infrastructure in a variety of ways. Infrastructure in that some of our roads are just not cut out for what they're being asked to bear, much less what we project they will bear. I used to ride my bicycle up and down Lucas Ferry all the time because it was kind of a out-of-the-way country road. I wouldn't get a bicycle out there now if you paid me. It's ridiculous. The traffic, the speeding, it's just not tenable to do. You couple that with the fact that other areas of our infrastructure are just not set up, and it's just a disaster waiting to happen. I don't really mean to be negative Nelly about that, but I hear complaints all the time about the speeding out there. The police don't really have time to address it because they're busy doing other things. So we need more infrastructure and personnel as well as actual physical infrastructure. Very often you can sit at the four-way stop at Washington Street and outside my neighborhood at Lucas Ferry and Quinn and see people blowing through it all the time, or backups in the mornings. We need some solutions to those. Are the four-way stops really working? Do we need to upgrade? You see traffic issues up and down Bullington Road when school starts next week. You have neighbors up and down that area that say they can't get out of their driveways for it. So we need to take an intentional look at physically what's going on to address that. I think we can do a really good job of working with the state as far as Highway 72 is concerned to help address that, as well as studying what is already going on to make a plan for the future. We know houses are going up in my area. In District 4, there's lots of proposed development. We've got to get ready for that in a variety of ways, all of which boil down to infrastructure in various forms.
Marcia, would you like?
The growth issue is a large elephant in the room, so to speak, with the people in District 4 because we are adding so many residences in that area. Traffic, of course, is a concern, especially with school getting ready to begin on Washington Street with the intermediate school on Lucas Ferry Road, on Bullington Road, as Dana mentioned. There are a lot of issues that come with expanded growth. Another issue I think that I hear from people in my district are that they are looking for more business growth to come to the west side of Athens. They're looking for a grocery store on our side. They're looking for more retail on our side. In District 4, we do not have a park. So green space, I think, is another issue.
Would you like to respond to that?
Most everybody on the west side of town would love a grocery store. And I feel that that can come with managed rooftops. And by that, I mean we've got to look at our growth responsibly to be attractive to a retailer. Right now, you see a lot of empty buildings up and down 72. You see some subdivisions that could use some work as far as how they can be more easily accessed. If we can work on those issues, I think that we will make ourselves more attractive to retailers and hopefully get those things that people would really like to see.
Okay. Marcia, you're going to start with this one. You're going to have 2 minutes. Cities across the state are dealing with expense and revenue issues as a result of COVID-19 pandemic. With this in mind, how do you plan to balance the two when discussing budgets and appropriations in the upcoming fiscal years?
Budgeting is the way that the city plans, of course, for the monies that will be available and the expenditures they'll be able to make for the services that citizens expect. I think that coronavirus, of course, has affected revenues. That has been documented. In Athens, our revenues are not dipping as much as one might have thought. However, I do feel that there are ways that we can be judicious in the spending of tax dollars, and I hope that my background as a business educator would help me to understand what those processes would be, and will allow me to help make those decisions that will not cut services to citizens, but will provide as much as the city coffers are able to stand.
Dana, would you like to respond to that?
Sure. We all know that COVID-19 has affected everything. It affects my business daily. I'm having trouble getting some supplies, for instance. The City of Athens revenue statistics are actually not as in bad shape as I thought they would be. I've had the opportunity to look at some of the figures. That's great. We also know that we're going to have some increased spending because of it. I know that people are concerned about needs for schools and that sort of thing. Those things have to also be factored into the equation. Again, budgets are what you make of them. We can take lots of opportunities to find ways to increase our revenue stream, to make some things pay a little bit more for themselves. And I think that we need to take a really intensive look at every way that we can possibly squeeze dollars out of what's currently going on in Athens and look for creative ways to increase those things. If we do that, I think that we'll be okay, but we cannot afford not to really take a detailed fine combing of those things.
Marcia, you've got 30 seconds.
I do believe that the revenues that we are experiencing here, of course, the smaller businesses, the local businesses are the ones that are most affected by something like coronavirus. When anytime you shut down an economy, there are going to be effects. But revenue to the city has not been affected as badly as one would think.
Both of you have touched a little bit on this next question. Dana, you're going to go first with this one. You'll have 2 minutes. We're going to talk about infrastructure. Infrastructure is a big issue with citizens, whether it be roads or sewer. In your opinion, what's the most pressing infrastructure need in your district, and what would be your plan to address it?
As you said, I have already spoken about this a little bit. Our roads are what people are most concerned about. As I've been out visiting people, that's their concern. It is getting more and more difficult for me to get out of my driveway in the morning. At certain times of day, Market Street looks like a freeway. At any given time, you've got speeders, you've got other things. So obviously, road and traffic concerns are the biggest things that I have heard from people. We, we've got to be able to go where we need to go. We've got to be able to get places quickly and efficiently, and there's nothing more nerve-wracking than sitting in traffic when you think you should have already made the light. Again, we've got to take a critical look at what is already there, see if it's actually working, see if an upgrade is needed, see if it would be better managed with additions of turn lanes or widening roads. All sorts of really pretty practical solutions to these problems are available. We just need to be more proactive and get ahead of it. The big fear that I hear from people is we don't want to be like Madison. No, we want to be better. We want to get ahead of the growth. We want to be responsible to it. We want to take advantage of what is there and work with ALDOT and other organizations to create a really feasible plan that will help my Huntsville-bound husband in the morning, will help people up and down Lucas Ferry trying to get to the new Toyota plant, will help kids get to school, and all the other things that we have going on in our lives. If we can manage those effectively, I think people will respond to it. I think they know we're going to have some issues, and there's going to be some inconveniences as we get these issues worked out. But the longer we wait, the more trouble they will be to us.
Marcia?
I agree, of course, that roads do need to be upgraded. Of course, there is more than just the city that's affected with this. There are federal dollars, state dollars that flow into that, and as a city, we really have no control over those things. Paving is quite expensive. You mentioned sewer. I think that all of the older subdivisions need to be considered for upgrades to sewer. The city council members have just approved a project over in Westgate in Dana's neighborhood to add sewer. It's an older subdivision that did not have it. Of course, with the newer building, the city has already thought about that, and they have made arrangements to have new developments have to have sewer, or they can't be developed. So sewer and roads, those are things that will have to be planned.
So we've also talked a little bit about growth already, but I have a question here for you, and you're going to start on this one, Marcia. District 4 is one of the city's smallest districts in land area, situated on the west side of Athens. It has lots of residential but little commercial. How would you recommend the city grow this district?
There has been much discussion with people in the district, as I mentioned earlier. They want more businesses to come to the west side of town. Historically, that has gone to the east, probably because of 65 and the number of rooftops over there, but it is starting to come to the west. I've talked to small business owners, I've talked to realtors, I've talked to the economic development professionals, and all of them say that the growth is coming to the west side. So we need to have a plan in place to address that. Those empty buildings will probably be filled in the very near future because there are businesses already who have agreed to come here. A lot of people think that the council is able to negotiate those things, but they do not. That comes through economic development. That's not to say that the council would not have any influence in that area, and I certainly would be willing to use mine to help it come our direction. I think you have to consider, too, that we have a lot of traffic from the west in Lauderdale County. You get out on Highway 72 in the mornings and you will see those Lauderdale County tags. You'll see Tennessee tags on those roads, and they would support those businesses. If we had some more fast food establishments and we had some other types of businesses, I think they would be supported by the number of people simply because there is so much traffic that comes through from the west into our city or as a throughway to Madison or Huntsville. So looking at all of the options that there are, I have a 25-year professional relationship with the chairman of the Limestone County Economic Development Association.
Dana, if you want to respond to that.
Yes, please. Again, people were worried about Athens becoming another Madison. I'm not. I know that Athens has got a lot of great things to offer, and that is our people. As we get more people on the west side, that's not really a bad thing. But we don't want a situation where it's just subdivision after subdivision after subdivision. We do need to be an advocate for attracting people to this area. The east side of town gets a lot of attention. It's practically built out, as they say, and so there is a lot of attention and growth going on the west side of town. I think that's great. As a small business owner, I'm excited to see that. I also know that it would be much more convenient for people where I live to have things more close by. We can't force or cajole a business to locate wherever we would like for it to be. We can advocate for it. Again, we can make it as attractive as possible. We can work with people to make them want to come here.
Marcia, would you like to respond again to that?
I mentioned earlier, as time ran out, that I have a 25-year professional relationship with the current president of the Limestone County Economic Development Association, which works to bring business to our community. I also have relationships with people that I've built over the years in government, not just local, but in state, and also national. With our Alabama delegation, I have been to Washington, D.C. numerous times to lobby. So,
I'm going to give you each 1 minute on this question. We are going to start with you, Dana, okay?
Okay.
What do you believe your role is as a District 4 councilwoman in working with the council and in working on district needs?
As I said in my opening statement, I would answer to the people of District 4. If it is good for District 4, I need to try to make it happen. I am their voice. I would be the person to whom they would direct their concerns. I would be the person that is in their stead. In a representative government, of course, you elect people who will speak for you. I would speak loudly for the citizens of District 4. And like I said, if it's good for District 4, it's going to be good for me. And I would have to use that as my guide. If it is not good for District 4, I couldn't be behind it.
Marcia, the same question for you. What do you believe your role is as a District 4 councilwoman in working with the council and on district needs?
I believe my role is to represent. That's the form of government that we have. It is not possible for all of the citizens who live in District 4 to go up to the council meetings. We would have total chaos. But it is my responsibility to listen to their concerns. It is my responsibility to talk with them, communicate with them on my campaign cards. Before COVID, I had a phone number and email address on there. You don't see that always. I did that on purpose because I wanted the people in this district to know that I'm concerned about them, I care about them, I want them to be able to get in touch with me, and they have done so that I know what they want. It's not what Marcia Day wants, it's what the people in District 4 want, and that would be my role, is to serve the citizens in District 4.
Okay, we're going to have our closing remarks. Dana, I'm going to let you go first on this. You're both going to have a minute to close.
Okay. I'm grateful to live in Athens, and I can talk about how great it is all day and how much I love it. I love being part of our events and traditions. Athens is expanding and changing. We're part of an emerging area, and whether that change is positive or negative depends on how we approach it. We need to zealously and energetically work to make it a positive thing for all of us. We need to make our planning aggressively committed to that goal. Our greatest potential are our people, both those already here and those we hope to attract to Athens. District 4 is home. As time goes by, you find sometimes that the places you love need attention and updates, and we are experiencing some growing pains. We've talked about the traffic, for instance. As I've visited with neighbors all over the area, I've listened to the concerns they've had. Things about police presence, fire protection, future development, drainage issues, young people's needs, all sorts of things. I want to craft long-term resolutions to these topics. I'll work towards having Athens and particularly District 4 realize its full potential.
And Marcia, if you're ready with your closing remarks.
I believe that most people who know me and the people with whom I've spoken during this campaign know that I have the knowledge and experience that would be necessary to represent them well. I believe they know I have a mindset of serving others. I'm a servant leader. I'm passionate about what I do. One of the greatest things I think I bring to the table is the time that I will have to devote for this. I don't have a day job. I'm retired. So I can spend my time representing the people in District 4. I am a professional. I always have been. I've talked about the relationships that I have built over the years. Anytime you want to accomplish anything, it involves a relationship. You have to have those in place before you can actively do any project. And I hope that my background in that will enable me to be the best for District 4.
We thank both of you ladies for coming out, taking part in our political forum tonight. Thank you for letting us get to know you a little bit better and learn a little bit more about you.